All right, so welcome to another deep dive. You know how this works by now. We've got this collection of news from around the world, and we're trying to extract the most important insights, give it all to you in a nice, digestible format.
Yeah, sounds good.
But today, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to be doing a quiz show.
All right, I like it.
Yeah, 25 questions about all sorts of stuff that's been going on around the world, and I think it's going to be a fun way to kind of get informed.
Yeah, I think it will. It will certainly test our knowledge.
It will test our knowledge, absolutely. So are you ready to dive in?
Ready when you are. Let's do it.
Okay, question number 1. All right, so regarding the Russia-Ukraine conflict, what proposal did the U.S. recently put forward? Was it A, a 30-day ceasefire, B, a military intervention, or C, economic sanctions?
Well, I mean, we all know the situation in Ukraine is really, really complicated. The U.S. has been trying to get involved diplomatically. They've offered lots of support. But a 30-day ceasefire, that's what they really want, trying to give everybody a chance to, get humanitarian aid out there and maybe even get to the negotiating table.
That's right. The answer is A, a 30-day ceasefire. Okay, question number 2. Which countries conducted these joint naval drills called Maritime Security Belt 2025? Was it A, USA, UK, and France, B, China, Iran, and Russia, or C, India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh?
Okay, so this is a big deal. When you see China, Iran, and Russia teaming up for naval drills, you got to pay attention. It really looks like they're trying to, kind of solidify their power, show off what they can do together, especially in, such an important area. It's a pretty big shift in, who's got the naval power these days.
Yeah, absolutely. The answer is B, China, Iran, and Russia. And, we talk about things shifting all the time, but, seeing these kinds of alliances definitely makes you realize that things really are changing.
Absolutely.
All right, question number 3. We're going to turn our attention to Syria. What significant event just happened there? Was it A, a peace treaty was finally signed, B, a new government came in, but it's led to more violence, or C, some kind of international intervention?
Well, everybody hopes for peace in Syria, but unfortunately it's not that simple. This new government, it seems like it's actually made things worse. The violence has gotten even worse. It really shows you how divided things are over there and how hard it's going to be to find any kind of lasting peace.
It's a really tough situation. The answer is B, a new government led to more violence. Question number 4. Who was just arrested by the International Criminal Court? They say it's for crimes against humanity. Was it A, the former president of the Philippines, Rodrigo Duterte, B, the former U.S. president, Donald Trump, or C, the former UK Prime Minister, Boris Johnson?
So this is pretty major. The ICC, they don't just arrest anybody. These are serious, serious charges.
Yeah.
And in this case, it's about Duterte and that whole war on drugs he launched in the Philippines.
Yeah, the ICC is not messing around. They deal with the biggest, most serious crimes out there. So the answer is A, the former president of the Philippines, Rodrigo Duterte. All right, moving on to question 5. What's the Cairo Declaration all about? Are they trying to tackle A, climate change, B, the rebuilding of Gaza, or C, some new trade agreements?
So the Cairo Declaration, this is all about Gaza. They've been through so much conflict. There's so much that needs to be rebuilt. This declaration is all about, getting those reconstruction efforts off the ground, trying to provide for the people who have been affected. It's a huge task.
Yeah, absolutely. The answer is B, rebuilding Gaza. All right, question number 6. We're going to head over to India and Bangladesh. There's a certain treaty between them that's about to run out in 2026. Which one is it? Is it A, the Ganga Water Treaty, B, the Indus Water Treaty, or C, the Teesta Water Treaty?
So these water treaties, they're incredibly important. They can be, the difference between having enough water for your people and your crops and not. The one that's expiring between India and Bangladesh, that's the Ganga Water Treaty. And it's a big deal because both countries rely on the Ganga River for so much.
It is. And it'll be interesting to see what happens in 2026. Will they renew it or will they try to negotiate something new?
Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. The answer is A, the Ganga Water Treaty. Okay, question number 7. We're going to focus on the Torkham border crossing. What happened there recently? Was it A, a diplomatic meeting, B, some kind of shootout between security forces, or C, did they sign a new trade agreement?
Sadly, this one's not good news. The Torkham border crossing, that's between Pakistan and Afghanistan. It's a really important spot, but there was a shootout there between the security forces of both countries. It just shows you how tense things still are there.
Yeah, absolutely. The answer is B, a shootout between security forces. Okay, question number 8. The World Health Organization, the WHO, they just put out a report on maternal mortality rates. What did they find? Was it A, things are getting better because of better health care? B, the numbers are really bad with over 287,000 preventable deaths in 2020? Or C, things are actually getting worse because of all the wars going on?
This report, it's a real wake-up call. They found that in 2020, there were 287,000 deaths of mothers that could have been prevented. That's a huge number. It really highlights the need for better health care for women, all around the world.
It really does. It's a global issue. And the answer is B, the numbers are alarming, with over 287,000 preventable deaths in 2020. All right, question number 9. Which country decided to show off its military might by deploying a large phased array radar system? Was it A, India, B, China, or C, Russia?
So China is the one making moves with this radar system. These things are pretty sophisticated. They can see a lot, and that means they can, keep an eye on things, spot potential threats. It's definitely something that other countries are going to be watching closely.
Yeah, absolutely. And the answer is B, China. Okay, question 10. We're going to talk about a movement that wants to create a separate state for Sikhs. Which one is gaining traction these days? Is it A, the Khalistan movement, B, the Tamil Eelam movement, or C, the Scottish independence movement?
So out of those choices, the one that's really been making headlines recently is the Khalistan movement. They want an independent Sikh state called Khalistan. It's got a long history, but it seems like it's gaining some momentum again.
It'll be interesting to see how that develops. The answer is A, the Khalistan movement. All right, question number 11. We're going to talk about Donald Trump and his ideas about what to do with the Iran nuclear deal. What did he suggest? A, pull out of the whole thing completely. B, let's renegotiate it. Or C, slap some new sanctions on Iran.
So Donald Trump, he's never been shy about sharing his opinions. And on the Iran nuclear deal, he said he wants to renegotiate it, change the terms, try to get a better deal, at least in his view.
Yeah, renegotiation seems to be his go-to move. The answer is B, renegotiate the deal. All right, question 12. The BRICS Economic Alliance just got a new member, their 9th partner, who joined the club. Was it A, Nigeria, B, South Africa, or C, Argentina?
So the BRICS, that's Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. They're a pretty powerful group, and they just welcomed Nigeria as their 9th partner. It's a big move, and it could mean, more economic clout for the group, maybe even some political shifts as well.
Yeah, it's definitely something to keep an eye on. The answer is A, Nigeria. Okay, question 13. The Arab League just got together and they came up with a plan to deal with a humanitarian crisis. What was it? A, a $53 billion plan to rebuild Gaza. B, $20 billion in aid for Syria. Or C, a $10 billion climate change initiative.
Gaza's been through so much, and the Arab League knows it. They put together a massive plan, $53 billion, all aimed at rebuilding Gaza. It's a huge undertaking, but it shows their commitment to helping the people there.
It's a really significant commitment. The answer is A, a $53 billion plan to rebuild Gaza. Okay, question 14. We're coming back to the U.S. One of the states just declared October as Hindu Heritage Month. Which state was it? A, California, B, Ohio, or C, Texas?
So it was Ohio that decided to recognize the contributions of the Hindu community by declaring October as Hindu Heritage Month. It's a pretty cool move, celebrating cultural diversity like that.
Absolutely. The answer is B, Ohio. All right, question 15. Sadly, we've got to talk about a natural disaster. Cuba was just hit pretty hard. What was it? A, a devastating earthquake. B, Hurricane Rafael. Or C, some massive flooding.
It was Hurricane Rafael that caused a lot of damage in Cuba. They're still recovering, and they're going to need a lot of help from the international community to get back on their feet.
Yeah, those hurricanes can be absolutely brutal. The answer is B, Hurricane Rafael. All right, question 16. There was a big political event in March 2025, something involving Ukraine and the U.S. What went down? A, did they form a new military alliance? B, did they have some kind of diplomatic blow-up during a meeting? Or C, did they sign a new economic partnership?
Diplomacy can be tricky, and in this case, it seems like things got a little heated. There was a diplomatic confrontation between the U.S. and Ukraine during a meeting.
Yeah.
Just goes to show you how delicate these relationships can be.
Absolutely. The answer is B, a diplomatic confrontation. Okay, question 17. The Arab League had an emergency summit on March 4, 2025. Where was it? A, Egypt, B, Saudi Arabia, or C, Jordan?
When there's an emergency summit, you know it's serious. The Arab League chose Egypt to host this one.
That makes sense. Egypt's often been a key player in the region. So the answer is A, Egypt. All right, question 18. Let's talk about the Chagos Archipelago. What's the big issue there? Is it A, environmental concerns, B, a territorial dispute between Mauritius and the UK, or C, are there secret military installations hidden there?
The Chagos Archipelago, it's beautiful, but there's a big fight over who it actually belongs to. Mauritius and the UK, they both claim it, and it's been a long, drawn-out dispute.
Yeah, these territorial disputes can drag on for years. The answer is B, a territorial dispute between Mauritius and the UK. Okay, question 19. We've got another country going through a really rough time, a humanitarian crisis because of the ongoing conflict with Israel. Which country is it? A, Lebanon, B, Syria, or C, Gaza?
Sadly, it's Gaza that's bearing the brunt of this conflict. The humanitarian situation there is really dire. They need food, water, medical supplies, everything.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking to see what they're going through. The answer is C, Gaza. Okay, question 20. We're going to talk about Pakistan and Afghanistan. They've been having some issues lately. What seems to be the biggest point of tension? A, trade agreements. B, are they having problems with border security? Or C, are they arguing about refugee policies?
The border between Pakistan and Afghanistan, it's always been a bit of a flashpoint. There have been a lot of incidents lately, a lot of tension over security.
Yeah, it's a tough border to manage. The answer is B, border security incidents. Okay, question 21. This is another one about the WHO study on maternal mortality rates. What was the main takeaway? A, they said things are getting a lot better. B, they said there are still way too many preventable deaths. Or C, they said nothing's really changed.
The WHO, they didn't mince words. They said there's still way too many women dying during childbirth, and a lot of those deaths could have been prevented. It's a problem that needs urgent attention.
It really does. And the answer is B, there are still far too many preventable deaths. Okay, question 22. There's a country that's become infamous for its so-called war on drugs. It was so bad that their former president ended up facing charges at the ICC. Which country is it? A, Mexico, B, the Philippines, or C, Brazil?
It's the Philippines that's become synonymous with this controversial war on drugs. The ICC got involved because of the allegations of human rights abuses.
Yeah, it's a very sensitive topic, and the ICC doesn't take those allegations lightly, so the answer is B, the Philippines. All right, question 23. China, Iran, and Russia, we know they held some military exercises in early 2025. What kind were they? A, Air Force drills, B, naval exercises, or C, ground troop exercises?
They decided to flex their naval muscles. It was a show of force at sea, something that definitely got a lot of attention.
It did. And the answer is B, naval exercises. Okay, question 24. There's a region in the world where things are heating up, lots of military activity, plus a bunch of countries are fighting over territory. Which region is it? A, the South China Sea, B, the Gulf of Oman, or C, the Mediterranean Sea?
The Gulf of Oman is definitely the hot spot right now. Lots of military maneuvering, everyone's on edge, and those territorial disputes just add fuel to the fire.
Yeah, it's a powder keg. The answer is B, the Gulf of Oman.
Yeah.
Okay, and for our final question, question 25, we've talked about the alarming statistics on maternal mortality, but which organization was it that released that information? Was it A, UNICEF, B, WHO, or C, UNHCR?
That was the WHO, the World Health Organization. That sounded the alarm on maternal mortality. They're the ones who are really leading the charge on trying to improve the situation for mothers worldwide.
And it's so important that they do. So the answer is B, the WHO. And that's it. 25 questions about what's been happening around the world. I don't know about you, but I feel like I learned a lot.
Me too. It's amazing how much is going on.
It really is. It can feel overwhelming sometimes trying to keep up with everything, but I think this kind of quiz format, it helps break it down, makes it a little easier to digest.
I agree. And, when you look at all these events together, it really makes you think about how connected everything is. What happens in one part of the world can ripple out and affect everything else.
It's like a giant web, and we're all part of it. So yeah, I think that's a great takeaway. Pay attention to what's happening in the world because it all matters, even if it seems far away.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
All right, well, that's it for our deep dive today. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And we'll catch you next time.